Okay, we are recording. I'm gonna try to pick up where I left off last time, which was one of the drop-based drop examples. I think we didn't finish marking it up. Drop-based drop with imbalance. We have drop-based drop with power of 3. So we did the power of 3, but we don't have the imbalance. This looks like it. Strong drop, base, drop, and then here is our imbalance, which actually only from here. Really, I think we get the general idea. I'd like to move on to something new. Not bad. We are already on lecture 15. Rally base drop and drop base rally. Okay, but first we'll need to add in the notes for our drop base drop. And that's why I don't like to stop halfway through something, because if you don't reach that benchmark, it's very difficult to kind of pick up where you left off. Half-finished ideas and come into it with a different mindset. Sorry, I am not a fan of this music. A bit too pop star for me. And this is something I'll point out too, is I've seen the rally-based rally not referred to as a rally-based rally, but as a Bart Simpson pattern, because it resembles Bart Simpson's head in his unique hairstyle. Yeah. So there are many different names for each market structure. There's another one here, it's interesting. So, rally, base, drop. Okay, I kind of zoned out, but I can see there's quite a lot of content here. So let's start to dig into it. Okay, I think I'm ready to walk through this. The rally base drop, also called the Bart Simpson pattern, because it resembles Bart Simpson's head. We have the sharp increase in price, followed by a consolidation and then a drop. And within the base, or the consolidation, we will see the market patterns that we are looking for unfolding. The base will form a natural supply area if it's a rally base drop, and a natural demand area if it's a drop-based rally. But what's really interesting here is the quality points, especially this first quality point, because it's not something that it's not something that I've previously considered as what you should be looking for. Is in the base, we want to see the liquidity being taken out. Because if we do end up setting a stop loss based on the previous high of the base, we don't want that to be a waiting liquidity area that could be taken out. So in the first example, we have good, which it's still a rally-based drop, but we have these ascending points of liquidity where price will naturally want to gravitate towards, and not just towards, but a little bit higher. So if we put a stop loss at any one of these points, there's a good chance the price will rise above it a little bit. In the second example, we have some of the liquidities already been hunted. This liquidity point here, my phone is going off, I need to turn it off. So we have this liquidity hunt here, which will neutralize, whatever was waiting here. But then we form one more peak before making our drop. So this is still a point where we need to be aware of. And the best case scenario is sending swing highs on the lower time frame. So all the liquidity is being taken out as we go, and then we have the drop. And case scenario, on a very low time frame, this would be a swing failure pattern. So, and we would have a lot of confidence that all the interest in this area is kind of past for now, and we're ready to move on. Quality point 2, we already went over in the rally-based rally. It's just a longer base. Will create a stronger supply or demand zone. Quality point 2 again, I need to rename that. Quality point 3 is just that we're looking for a strong break. Not too much there. Okay, so let's move on to the examples. Okay, we're back. All right, so I'll do a little walkthrough of this chart. So this would be an example of a rally base drop. We have the rally, base, and then the drop. Now when we're examining the quality of the base, something to look for, as we pointed out earlier, the quality checkpoint is there waiting liquidity or has it been hunted? And we can see a clear ascending swing in the base, meaning that the liquidity is being hunted and we have a swing failure pattern before the break, which is good news because it means that all of this kind of has been absorbed already and we don't need to worry about it as a threat to our stop loss if we end up placing a stop loss in that area. So then we have the break down, and what's interesting here is this is actually a drop base drop as well. That's why I drew in the blue line here. So, you know, there's what's that expression? There's many ways to skin a cat. Is that the wording of it? Yeah, so our goal is to skinning cats, and there's quite a few ways to do it. But anyways, so we have these overlapping patterns. We have the rally base drop, we have a drop base drop, then we have a drop base rally. So which one you want to trade kind of just depends on what flavor you're looking for, as well as which one has the most reliable setup. So coming through here, now I started to look at this drop base drop as something that I would be more interested in because it's likely to play out before the rally base drop plays out because it's smaller and we only have to come up, not so much, I guess I would say. Price doesn't have to come all the way up here. It can just come up to this imbalance, which is what it ends up doing. But anyway, so we're going through it and we're marking out possible areas of interest. We have this big old demand order block before the break here. A demand breaker block formed from this higher low to this the higher high to this higher low. Then the breaker structure going up forms this breaker, which we will use as a target later for this trade. Higher high, highest high, higher low, the market structure break. And this is all in the same time frame, but if you were really looking for the best entry, you would be going into a lower time frame. So for this short position, we have the highest high. The candle wick would be our stop loss, and then we set our entry at this imbalance, at the bottom end of this imbalance, which also lines up, you know, with this liquidity area here. We can see it comes up, tags our entry where we would have placed it. Pinky swear I would have done that. And then our take profit would have been down here at this demand breaker block. And it goes a bit lower, but I don't know, I probably would have put it at the top. Just because, well, just cause. And then we're in this consolidation, blah blah blah. But this is what we were looking for the rally base drop, would be this area around here. So we have this overlap between this imbalance and then I guess this would be a breaker block. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that if the price comes up to it and then it goes down. So that's what we want. So it did end up coming up to the overlapping imbalance in supply zone and then coming back down. Now what our target would have been wasn't immediately clear to me, but you can draw an imbalance before we start this miniature rally right here, so that could have been a good target. Price does go lower, but I don't know if there's anything down here that I could have, maybe something with this, but not that clear. Anyways, yep, so that's one way to look at this chart. We'll move on to the second example. Something I will say before we move on, just comparing this next example to the example we just worked through, is how price in this chart does actually come up to almost the very top of the base for the rally base drop. It returns all the way up here, whereas that's something that we didn't see here. It doesn't even come close. So when you're looking at these things as they're playing out, you kind of have to have plan A, B, and C in place, because let's just say you're watching this play out, and you have this big drop, and you're like, okay, it's a drop-based drop, or is this a drop-based rally? We don't know if price is going to go up or it's going to come down. I mean, there might be indications, but for the sake of argument, we'll say we have no clue. And then as it plays out, okay, that's interesting. Alright. Whoa! Then we have quite a clear drop. So we're like, alright, this is a drop-based drop. What can we do with this? So then we would start drawing in our imbalances here and here, and mark this area out as a natural supply zone. It would be a and what's interesting here as well in this base is that we do see the higher highs. So there is a liquidity hunt going on, which can make us more confident going forward, apparently. Kind of talking out of my ass here, but I think it makes sense. So this would be an imbalance all the way up here. So we're filling the imbalance from this candle. Now this also plays into the power of 3, mindset. This would be the accumulation phase here. He draws a little liquidity line. You see a trend line going down. Traders would use that as a stop area, and then of course, as always, price will violate that and ruin some people's day. Coming up into these supply order and breaker blocks that were formed during the base. Now, where exactly you would want to place your entry for a short position, you know, it just depends on how much you wanted to push your luck, I guess. Lazy man could have put it down here. That would have been the most risky place to enter. Less risk. Actually, it's going to be the ideal area. And then with your stop above the swing high. I see what he's doing here. He's drawing the premium discount zone from the high here, or here. And we drew it twice. So he drew it from the high here to the low here, which would be the 50% level. And he did again for this swing. This would be the 50% level. I wonder why he put his big profit at that point. Of course, as you're watching it, he could have been moving his stop loss down. We could have been in this candle and moved his stop loss to this point. And then he came back up and stopped him out. But yep. All right. Let's put this in purple form and get it in the notes so we can refer back to it when we've almost forgotten. I like how he says, you know, don't try to be a hero with your risk reward. Stick with the 1 to 2 R and don't go for the 10 R. Mitigation block. That sounds interesting. And I just want to point out that this is completely new to me. I've never seen any of this before. Oh. Alright, where were we? Mitigation block. Took a quick detour to make a funny image of what I imagine retail traders to look like whenever they're referred to. I'll paste this clip into the chart to indicate what the retail traders are thinking. I'll run through this real quick. The concept of a mitigation block is pretty simple. It's basically a failed breaker block. So to make your typical breaker block, you have a series of higher highs forming break structure, and then to have the breaker block forms after a market structure break. So instead of being a demand order block like it would have been for these other areas where we didn't have the market structure break, it turns into a breaker block. But with a mitigation block, instead of forming a break of structure here going up to this level like we do over here, we just have the market structure break. So a market structure break without a break of structure ends up forming the mitigation block drawn from the body of the candle that preceded the movement where a break would have occurred but didn't. Yeah, so then we draw it from the body of this candle, and that will serve as a supply zone. Laid out in steps, and then here's another example, and a bit of the theory behind why they form is if we have an uptrend that's with these visible swing highs and lows, the retail traders, use them down here, they'll see that, and they'll get real confident. Maybe they placed a trade here based on the trend line, and they were able to successfully exit it. And then they do it again here, thinking it's all great. And it seems to be going pretty good for a while. And then we come down to the trend line again, and all of a sudden, getting a little bit worried. And so they're like, probably, it'll bounce off. Of course, it doesn't. Price ends up going lower, and they get stopped out. So they're all confused and sad. And why didn't it work? But yeah, anyways, and then we can look at price to return to the mitigation block as a possible short entry if we wanted to look at a lower time frame. see if there's any pattern playing out. Alright, yeah, so let's look at an example. Alright, let's walk through the example. Not too much to say, because this looks almost exactly like the theory slide. So we have the uptrend, higher high, higher high, higher high, higher low, higher low, higher low. We failed to make a new higher high, so there is no break structure. Subsequently, we have a market structure break, which allows us to draw our mitigation block. And because it wasn't a breaker structure, this isn't a breaker block. And it's drawn from the wicks of this candle, because the candle body is very small. So, and same as before, we have our retail trend line, which looks very strong and stable to the retail trader. So they're betting on price to bounce off of it to a new high up here. Of course, it doesn't. And so they put in their retail trade, you know, probably about here. That's at least where Kaplan puts it, because maybe they see it. They see their trend line here, and then they almost have this. But the candle doesn't quite close below their trend line, so it's okay. You know, everything's still good. We're back up here again. Then we start coming up here, and they're confident. They're ready to go. So they put their trade in, and they say, I'm going to put my stop loss down here at the bottom of this wick. And of course, that's exactly where price goes. So yeah, woe to the retail trader. Okay, and yeah, so if you were using the mitigation block, just as you would use any other supply zone, you would look for a return to it with some sort of confirmation in here on a lower time frame, or maybe like an engulfing candle or something like that. Okay, yep. I think there's another one actually. Does this one offer anything unique? No, I don't see anything new that would add to our notes. Other than just reinforcing the idea of these levels can persist for quite some time. It becomes relevant again over here. We've got 30 minutes left. Okay, this is another lesson about the gameplay box, which we did cover earlier. See if I can find it. Yep, here we go. We have the gameplay box is special zone determined with the fire time frame. forms from the premium to the discount. Within the gameplay box are price action structures that can move price from premium to discount and vice versa. Imbalances, order blocks. Determine the high time frame gameplay box. Day trade and scalp within the box. Okay, so here we are on the high time frame. We see a series of lower highs, lower lows. Another break of structure comes in here after a very strong candlestick. It leaves a large imbalance in the 3-hour time frame. This ends up forming the ceiling of our gameplay box, all the way down to the bottom, which forms the bottom of our discount premium zone. On its way back up, it creates an imbalance as well, which gives us a range that we are interested in scalping. And this would be a classic example of the power bar theory, where we have what looks like a pretty stable downtrend, and we're taking shorts in. But when price enters the 3-hour imbalance on the high time frame, we get this all this energy in the price skyrocketing up. Alright, that's the 4-hour mark, so we'll stop for today.